He never quite understood why his girlfriend's dog despised him, especially whenever he leaned in to kiss her. That mystery haunted him until their wedding night, when the truth revealed itself in a way no one could have imagined. Lucy's wedding night had finally arrived. She stepped out of a sleek black car, her dog Brutus beside her. The hotel shimmered under the beachside lights. Brutus, a muscular bulldog with a stern face and jet-black fur, walked close, alert and still. Lucy's heart raced with excitement. Tomorrow, she would marry the man she loved. As she approached the entrance, Alex appeared through the glass doors. He lit up when he saw her and came rushing forward, arms wide. He kissed her cheek. But then, grr. Woof. Woof. Brutus launched at him, barking wildly and sinking his teeth into Alex's pant leg. Brutus, no. Stop. Lucy yanked his leash with both hands. Alex recoiled, fear and fury on his face. He stepped behind Lucy, his voice tense. Why do you always bring this dog? He almost attacked me. I'm really sorry, babe, Lucy said softly. I just can't leave him alone. Alex frowned, brushing dirt off his trousers. But why does he always freak out when I kiss you? Oh, don't mind him, Lucy replied with a giggle. He's protective. It's just in his nature. Alex wasn't convinced. No, Lucy. He only acts like this with me. He doesn't growl at anyone else. Lucy reached for his hand. Let's not argue. Tomorrow's a special day. Let's focus on that. She led him toward the lobby. A hotel staff member took Brutus' leash and walked behind them. Lucy chatted away about final details for the ceremony, but Alex kept glancing over his shoulder. In the elevator, he turned to her. We can't keep that dog once we're married. He scares me. Lucy blinked, surprised. He just needs time. He'll get used to you. We've been dating for months, Alex muttered. It's only gotten worse. Let's just enjoy tonight, Lucy said, trying to keep the peace. The elevator dinged and opened into a luxurious suite. Lucy gasped. Rose petals trailed across the floor. Soft lights glowed. Balloons bobbed near the ceiling. A large sign on the wall read, "Last night before I do." Oh my gosh, Alex. Lucy squealed, hugging him tightly. This is beautiful. Alex smiled faintly, but his eyes darted to Brutus, who now sat silently in the corner, watching. Unblinking. Lucy didn't notice. She twirled around, giddy. She had no idea the night was about to unravel everything. Lucy wrapped her arms around Alex again, her voice a soft whisper. I love you. I love you, too, Alex replied, brushing her hair behind her ear. You mean the world to me. They stood there, wrapped in each other. Time slowed. Then, Alex's phone buzzed. He looked down. It's the groomsmen. They just got here. I should go meet them. Go on, Lucy said, kissing him again. Tell them I said hi. Alex walked out, leaving Lucy with Brutus, who now lay quietly by the bed. She hummed while fixing her hair in the mirror. Downstairs, Alex found his best friend Jack and the rest of the groomsmen in the hotel lobby. They brought balloons, gift boxes, a trumpet player, even a cake shaped like a heart. We're gonna surprise her big time, Jack said, grinning. Alex nodded, holding a bouquet of red roses. She'll love this. They headed up to the room. Just before knocking, Alex paused. He heard Lucy's laughter through the door. She was on the phone. Can you believe Alex wants Brutus gone after the wedding, she said between giggles. He thinks Brutus hates him for no reason. Alex froze. He has no idea Brutus is just possessive. That dog treats me like I'm his property. Doesn't want to share. More laughter. Light. Carefree. Then came the sentence that shattered Alex's soul. Honestly, Alex is so dull. He can't satisfy me the way Brutus does. Alex staggered backward. What? The roses trembled in his hands. Inside, Lucy's voice dropped, colder now. He's weak. If it wasn't for his money, I wouldn't be with him. I'll marry him, divorce him, and take half of everything. Alex's heart thundered. His palms were slick with sweat. I'll leave him, she continued, dreamily. Then I'll go to Michael. He's the only man I've ever really loved. Thud. The roses slipped from Alex's grip and hit the floor. Jack's smile vanished. The trumpet player stood frozen. Alex stared at the door like it had become a fire. Behind it, everything he believed in, love, trust, future, burned. Inside, Lucy laughed again. Outside, Alex's world collapsed. Jack stepped forward, concern in his voice. Alex? What happened? Alex slowly turned. Tears streamed down his face. Bro? Jack asked, louder. But Alex said nothing. He turned and walked away, heartbroken, silent, crushed petals at his feet. Alex didn't respond. His footsteps echoed down the hallway as he walked away, head lowered, heart in pieces. Behind him, Jack called again, louder this time, Alex. But Alex kept going, disappearing into the elevator without a word, his face soaked in tears. That night would become the most painful in Alex's life. He didn't eat. Didn't sleep. He just sat on the edge of the hotel bed, hands trembling, staring blankly at the carpet. The bouquet was gone. The surprise ruined. The woman he loved, a lie. Her words replayed in his head like a broken record. Alex can't satisfy me like Brutus. I'll marry him and take half. Michael is the man I truly love. Alex clenched his jaw. His chest tightened. How could she say those things and still smile like everything was fine? How could someone plan something so heartless? But beyond the pain, a deeper fear crept in, shame. The wedding was just hours away. Guests had flown in. Thousands of dollars spent. What would he say? That the bride he adored was just playing him? His head dropped into his hands. The walls felt like they were closing in. From outside, the groomsman knocked repeatedly. Alex, open the door, Jack begged. Talk to us. Please. But the door stayed shut. The room was silent except for Alex's quiet sobbing. Morning arrived, bright and loud. Birds chirped. The city buzzed. But for Alex, everything was dark. To everyone's surprise, he finally got up. He didn't look like a man who'd cried all night. His face was pale, but calm. Too calm. He showered, shaved, slipped into his suit. The groomsman hovered near him. You okay? Jack asked. I'm fine, Alex replied. But his voice was hollow. His eyes, empty. The wedding venue sparkled like a royal hall. Giant chandeliers glittered. Rows of gold chairs were perfectly aligned. Soft classical music played. Photographers clicked away. Alex entered, quiet and distant. He didn't wave or smile. Just walked to his seat by the altar and sat, motionless. Guests whispered. Something felt off. Soon after, the bride appeared. Lucy floated down the aisle in a gown that shimmered under the lights. Her veil sparkled. Her smile was radiant. Guests clapped. Phones clicked. She looked like a dream. She sat beside Alex and leaned in to whisper something sweet. But he didn't look at her. Didn't even flinch. Lucy's smile faltered. The officiant stood, ready to begin. But before a word was spoken, Alex raised his hand. Wait, he said. All eyes turned to him. I have something special for my bride-to-be. People clapped, thinking it was a sweet gesture. Maybe a serenade or a gift. Lucy's face lit up again. But the groomsmen exchanged tense glances. Alex turned toward the media crew stationed near the stage and gave a silent nod. One of them hesitated, then pressed play on a speaker system. Silence filled the hall. You could hear a pin drop. Then, Lucy's voice echoed through the speakers. Alex is always busy. He can't satisfy me like Brutus does. Gasps. He's weak. I'd never have dated him if he wasn't rich. I'll marry him, take half, and then I'm going to Michael. More gasps. Guests exchanged horrified looks. Some covered their mouths. Others dropped their phones in disbelief. Is that really Lucy? Someone whispered. She said that? My God. Lucy stood frozen. Her skin turned ghostly pale. Her hands trembled. Her legs looked ready to collapse. Eyes all around burned into her. She wanted to vanish. Alex stood like a statue, his jaw clenched. He slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out dark sunglasses. Hands shaking, he slid them on, not to look cool, but to hide the storm in his eyes. Lucy took a step back, her breath uneven. Then, thud. Her knees buckled. She fainted. Alex didn't move. Didn't reach out. He simply adjusted his glasses, inhaled deeply, and walked out of the hall. Chaos erupted. Guests jumped to their feet. Shouts filled the air. Some ran after him. Others stared at Lucy in shock. Chairs toppled. Flowers were trampled. The once elegant venue had become a mess of disbelief and noise. The groom had exposed the bride, and vanished. Later that day, Alex returned to his house. The silence inside was deafening. He closed the door slowly and walked into his bedroom, still wearing the suit. Then, without restraint, he collapsed face first onto the bed. He wept. Not quiet tears. But loud, gut-wrenching sobs that echoed through the room. His body shook. The pillow soaked beneath him. He had never felt so used. So broken. So betrayed. Outside, family and friends banged on the door. Alex, we're here, man. Please open up. You're not alone, bro. Let us in. But he didn't answer. He didn't move. He just lay there, silent, wounded, and shattered. Days passed. He refused food. Ignored calls. Never opened the curtains. The betrayal had cut too deep. The audio haunted him. Every laugh. Every word. It echoed in his mind like a drumbeat of pain. Why me? He whispered over and over. What did I do to deserve this? Weeks rolled by. Sunlight came and went, but his world stayed dark. Friends visited. Jack brought a therapist. His mother cried outside the door. But nothing reached him. He wasn't just heartbroken. He was humiliated. All over town, people whispered. Online, clips spread. He became the man who got ruined on his own wedding day. And then one quiet evening, as he sat alone staring at nothing, a new thought stirred. Not a thought of sorrow. But something sharper. Colder. She broke me. Now, how do I make her feel the same? Revenge. A spark ignited in his chest. But it wasn't just revenge he wanted. Is there anyone who'll ever love me, not for money, but for me? He didn't know the answer. But he swore one thing, he wouldn't stay broken. Not forever. After the betrayal, Alex wanted nothing more than to vanish. The stares, the whispers, the pity in people's eyes, it crushed him. He wasn't just a broken man. He was now a public tragedy. A cautionary tale. A meme to some. So, he disappeared. No announcements. No calls. He quietly packed a small bag, left behind his expensive watches, designer suits, and lavish apartment. He didn't even tell Jack. Alex relocated to a small, quiet town far from the city lights. Dusty streets. Warm neighbors. No paparazzi. No noise. Just peace. He rented a modest one-bedroom home. It had no luxury, no polished furniture, just a simple space where he could breathe. Each morning, he walked to the roadside market or sat at a local cafe, sipping cheap coffee. No one knew his name. No one cared what car he drove. And that anonymity gave him peace. He dressed like a regular guy. No more gold chains. No fine leather shoes. Just jeans, a t-shirt, and worn sneakers. The days moved slowly. Then, one cloudy afternoon, as he walked toward a corner store, a car flew past him through a puddle. Splash! Muddy water sprayed all over him, soaking his shirt and jeans. Alex froze. He stood drenched, dripping with brown sludge, humiliated in the middle of the road. People glanced his way, some chuckling softly. The car screeched to a stop. A young woman jumped out and ran toward him. "Oh no. I'm so sorry, sir," she said, flustered. "I didn't see the water. I was in a rush." Alex looked at her. Her voice was soft, her eyes wide with guilt. She looked genuinely upset. "It's okay," he muttered, brushing mud off his sleeve. But she wouldn't leave. She ran back to her car, grabbed a towel from the back seat, and hurried back to him. "Please," she said gently. "Let me help." She started dabbing the mud off his clothes with the towel, careful not to look him in the eye. "It's fine," Alex repeated. "You should go. I'll manage." "Are you sure?" she asked, still clearly embarrassed. He nodded. She smiled, softly said, "Take care," and disappeared back into her car. Alex stood there, stunned. She hadn't laughed at him. She hadn't judged his muddy clothes or old shoes. She was kind, he whispered to himself. Days passed, but he couldn't get her out of his mind. Then, one Saturday afternoon, as he left the grocery store, he stopped in his tracks. There she was. Standing near the entrance, chatting with a friend. Her hair was tied up in a bun. She wore a simple dress. But to Alex, she looked like the sun after a long winter. He walked toward her, heart racing. She saw him. "Oh, it's you," she said, surprised and smiling. "You're the guy from the mud incident." Alex chuckled. "Guilty." They laughed. "This is my best friend, Emma," she said, pointing beside her. "And I'm Caroline." "Nice to meet you properly," Alex replied. "I'm Alex." They chatted for a few minutes, light, casual. Then, taking a deep breath, Alex asked, "Would you mind if I got your number?" Caroline hesitated just a second, then handed him her phone. From that moment, they started talking. Texts. Calls. Occasional meetups. For the first time in months, Alex felt a spark. Caroline seemed warm. Curious. Fun. But there was one thing Alex didn't know yet, his biggest heartbreak was still ahead. Weeks later, after a long phone call filled with laughter, Alex built up the courage. "Would you like to go out with me this weekend?" he asked softly. "Nothing fancy. Just lunch." Caroline giggled. "Sure. But, would it be okay if I brought someone along?" Alex raised a brow. "Who?" "My bestie. Emma." "You've already met her." Alex paused. A tiny alarm rang in his chest. But he smiled. "Yeah. That's fine." He had no idea that this small decision would change everything. The day arrived. Alex wore a clean shirt. Comb brushed his hair. He didn't have much left, but he wanted to make a good impression. He drove his old, rattling car to Caroline's house. Paint chipped. Radio broken. But it worked. That was enough. He honked once, then stepped out with a hopeful smile. Caroline peeked through the curtain. Her smile dropped instantly. "Is that what he's driving?" she said, turning to Emma. "I'm not getting in that," she added, frowning hard. Emma looked at her. "Caroline, come on. It's just a ride." "It's embarrassing." Caroline snapped. After a minute of protest, Caroline finally agreed. She picked up her purse and stormed outside with Emma. Alex greeted them warmly. "You both look great." "Thanks," Emma replied politely. Caroline mumbled something without looking at him. Alex didn't notice. He focused on giving them a nice time. He took them to a clean, quiet restaurant, not luxurious, but tidy and peaceful. They sat near a window. A waiter approached. "Good afternoon. May I take your order?" Alex smiled. "Just rice and water for me, thanks." Caroline leaned back. "I'll have rice, grilled chicken, grilled fish, a salad, and your best wine," she said, without blinking. Emma stared at her. "That's too much," she whispered. Caroline ignored her and added dessert. Emma ordered rice and water. Alex forced a smile, pretending to be okay. When the bill arrived, he opened his wallet and froze. He didn't have enough. Heart pounding, he leaned toward Caroline. "Could you help me cover the rest?" "Just a little." Caroline's face twisted. "You brought us out knowing you couldn't pay," she snapped, loudly. Emma gasped and pinched her under the table. "Lower your voice." People stared. Alex sank in his seat. Emma quickly pulled some bills from her bag and tried to hand them discreetly to Caroline. "Here," she whispered. "Just pass it to him." Caroline folded her arms. "No." Emma sighed. She leaned over. "Alex," she said gently. "Caroline asked me to give this to you." Alex hesitated, then took the cash, murmuring, "Thank you." He paid quietly. Outside, the car ride home was silent. Caroline barely spoke. At a red light, a white luxury car pulled up beside them. The driver, a flashy guy with sunglasses and chains, honked. "Hey beautiful," he called out to Caroline. She smiled. Didn't hesitate. Opened the door and walked over. Alex watched through the mirror, stunned. They flirted. Exchanged numbers. When she returned to the car, she didn't mention it. "Thanks for the outing," she muttered. Emma added, "I had a nice time, Alex." "Caroline." She walked away without a goodbye. Emma lingered. "What you did in there," she told Caroline, "was cruel." Emma's voice was sharp. "You embarrassed him over a simple bill. Then you flirted with another man right in front of him." Caroline rolled her eyes. "He's broke, Emma. What did you expect me to do? Act impressed?" Emma shook her head. "You humiliated him. That wasn't just rude, it was heartless." But Caroline didn't care. She strutted ahead, arms crossed, tossing her hair with every step. Yet Emma couldn't shake Alex's face from her mind, the quiet hurt in his eyes, the way he tried to stay composed, the silence that followed him. She saw something behind that silence, a man still healing. A man being pushed toward his breaking point. Despite the terrible outing, Alex and Caroline continued talking. The texts didn't stop. The calls came in. Maybe it was loneliness, or maybe hope, but Alex kept trying. He wanted to believe there was something real. Something worth saving. They met up a few more times. Talked. Shared stories. But Caroline's behavior never really changed. She was hot and cold, sweet and sour, never steady. Still, Alex ignored the signs. He thought maybe, just maybe, if he gave her time, she'd warm up. See past his simple life. See the man underneath. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a bright afternoon. Alex visited Caroline's house. They sat on a small couch in her living room. She scrolled her phone, sipping juice. He sat beside her, fiddling with his hands, building up courage. Finally, he spoke. "Caroline," he said softly, "if I asked you to marry me one day, would you say yes?" She paused. Then, loud, uncontrollable laughter. "Marry you?" she choked between laughs. "You? Like this?" Alex stared, stunned. She stood, waving her phone in the air. "I can't believe I let you come into my house. You're just pathetic." Each word landed like a slap. "I blame myself," she snapped. "For ever entertaining a poor man with nothing to offer." Alex sat frozen. Just then, Emma walked out from the kitchen, drawn by the shouting. "What's going on?" she asked, alarmed. Caroline scoffed. "Can you believe this guy just asked me to marry him?" Emma looked at Alex, whose eyes were glassy with shame. He couldn't even speak. "What's wrong with that?" Emma asked quietly. "Why are you yelling like this?" Caroline rolled her eyes. "If you like him so much, marry him yourself." Emma's gaze shifted to Alex. His face looked empty, but his heart was screaming. Emma sat beside him. "Would you ever want to marry someone like me?" she asked softly. Alex blinked. "You would say yes." Emma nodded. "If I knew you were truly interested, I would have." "I've liked you since our first outing," Alex said quickly. "But I didn't want to come between friends." Caroline scoffed again. "You two go ahead. Date, marry, whatever." Right then, outside the window, a luxury car pulled up. The engine purred. The door opened. Mark stepped out, the same man Caroline had exchanged numbers with that day in the car. He carried shopping bags, designer clothes, perfumes, shiny gifts. "Baby," he called. Caroline lit up like fireworks. "Mark," she squealed, rushing to the door. He handed her the bags. "Got you something nice." Mark peered into the house. He saw Alex and Emma sitting together. "What's going on here?" he asked, smirking. Caroline laughed and pointed. "Can you believe this broke guy actually proposed to me?" Mark burst into laughter. "Him? You've got to be kidding." He turned to Alex. "Do you even know your level, man? Look at you." Alex lowered his eyes, saying nothing. But Emma had had enough. She stood tall and faced Mark directly. "I don't care how much money you have," she snapped. "You don't get to insult someone like that, not in front of me." Mark raised a brow. "And who are you?" "Someone who sees value in people's hearts, not their wallets," Emma said coldly. The room went still. Caroline looked embarrassed for a moment, then grabbed Mark's hand. "Let's go," she hissed. "We don't belong here." They left, laughing as they disappeared through the door. Alex sat quietly, shoulders slumped, soul bruised. Emma sat beside him again, gently touching his hand. "You didn't deserve that," she whispered. Alex turned to her, his eyes moist. "And you're the first person who's really seen me." Emma smiled faintly, her gaze warm. In that quiet, shattered moment, something unspoken passed between them. Something real. The day Caroline stormed out with Mark, something shifted in Alex. He stopped looking backward, and started looking at Emma. Really seeing her. Her kindness. Her strength. Her loyalty. She had stood by him when he had nothing. She had shielded him from mockery. And she never once asked for anything in return. Over time, they grew close, genuinely close. They laughed together. Shared late-night talks. Emma brought him little gifts, a new shirt, a snack he liked, a book he once mentioned. She even lent him money when he needed it, never keeping track, never asking when he'd pay her back. She loved him when he had no car. She loved him when his shoes were worn out. She loved him when the world looked away. Their love blossomed like a quiet flame, deep, patient, unshakable. But Emma had no idea. Alex was hiding a secret. A secret that would change everything. One evening, he called her. "I want to take you out," he said gently. "Wear something nice." Emma laughed. "What's the occasion?" "You'll see," Alex replied. The day came. Emma wore a soft peach gown. Her hair in curls, makeup light. She waited on the front porch, excited. Then. A rumble filled the street. Vroom. Vroom. From down the road came a convoy of black SUVs and sleek luxury sedans. Guards in suits. Flags fluttering. People came out of their homes to stare. The cars stopped at her gate. The door opened. Out stepped Alex, in a tailored navy blue suit, polished shoes, a gold watch. His presence was powerful. Calm. Magnetic. Emma gasped. "Alex?" He smiled gently. "I'm not who you think I am." She stared, breathless. "I'm not poor. Never was." Emma stood frozen at the gate, her eyes locked on Alex. He walked toward her, calm and composed, flanked by silent bodyguards. "I'm not poor," Alex repeated softly. "I've never been poor." Emma opened her mouth, but no words came out. "These are my cars. My staff. My people," Alex said. "I chose to live simply, because I needed to protect my heart." Emma blinked. "You pretended?" Alex nodded. "After what happened to me. I had to know if love still existed without wealth in the equation." Emma stared at the elegant vehicles, the suited guards, the polished shoes on Alex's feet. It all felt like a dream. "Come with me," he said gently, offering his hand. Still speechless, she placed her hand in his. He opened the door for her like a gentleman. She stepped inside. He followed. The car door shut with a soft click. The convoy began to roll forward. Inside, Emma sat stunned. She looked at Alex. "So, you're not just some regular guy." Alex smiled faintly. "I run companies. I own property. The restaurant we went to. I built it. The hotel you saw. I co-own it." Emma's mind raced. "But why hide it?" she asked. Alex's eyes darkened slightly. "I've been hurt before. Betrayed. Used. Caroline, she wasn't the first." Emma looked down, absorbing his words. "I needed to be sure," he said. "Sure someone could love me when I had nothing. No car. No money. Just me." Emma looked up. "And you think I'm that person?" "I know you are," Alex said quietly. The cars pulled into the driveway of a grand hotel. It gleamed under golden lights. Crystal windows, marble pillars, fountains lit with soft pink hues. Emma's jaw dropped. They stepped out together. Staff bowed as they entered. "Welcome, Mr. Alex," they said in unison. Emma's eyes widened. "They know your name." Alex smiled. "This is one of my properties." They were led down a gold-trimmed corridor into a private hall. It was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers glowed overhead. Tall vases overflowed with white roses. Every table was dressed in gold and ivory. A glowing sign near the stage read, "An evening to remember." Guests stood with drinks in hand, elegantly dressed. But Emma wasn't focused on them. Her eyes were drawn to one familiar face seated at a distant table, Caroline. Her smile faded. Caroline sipped wine next to Mark, laughing, until her eyes locked onto Alex. Her jaw dropped. "What, she whispered. "Is that Alex? And Emma?" Mark turned. "Huh. What are they doing here?" she asked again, louder this time. "He can't be invited." Mark narrowed his eyes, watching closely. "And where'd he get that suit? That can't be his. Did he borrow it?" Caroline sat up straighter. "No way, this is real. He's bluffing." Alex and Emma walked toward the front. Emma squeezed his hand. "Alex, what is this?" she whispered. "What's happening?" "You'll see," he said, his voice calm. Before they reached the stage, Mark stood abruptly and approached. Caroline followed close behind, heels clacking across the marble floor. Mark reached Alex and gave a small bow. "Good evening, boss." Emma's head snapped to him. "Boss?" Caroline blinked fast. "Wait. What did you just call him?" Mark straightened. "Boss. He's my employer." Caroline's face went blank. "I thought you were rich," she said in disbelief. "I'm a driver," Mark replied. "He hired me to act wealthy that day." Caroline took a shaky step backward. "So that wasn't your car?" "No," Mark said. "It was his." The room seemed to stop breathing. Emma stood frozen. "You mean," Caroline stammered. "All this time, he was testing me?" Mark nodded once. "He wanted to see your real heart." Caroline's eyes filled with tears. "You used me," she said, voice cracking. Alex turned toward her slowly. "I gave you a chance," he said evenly. "To show me who you were. But you didn't care about who I was. Only what I had." Caroline stepped closer, trembling. "I didn't know. I swear, if I had known." "That's the problem," Alex interrupted. "You should have been kind regardless. But you weren't." She looked at Emma, then back at Alex. "Please," she whispered. "Let's go back. We can fix this." Alex shook his head gently. "It's too late." She reached out but stopped as Alex turned away. He took Emma's hands. Then he dropped to one knee. Gasps filled the air. Emma covered her mouth, stunned. Alex opened a small velvet box. A sparkling diamond ring sat inside, catching the light like fire. "Emma," he said calmly, his voice full of emotion. "Will you marry me?" Caroline screamed. "No. Don't say yes." She rushed forward. "Emma, don't. He came for me first. He loved me first. Don't steal this from me." Emma looked at her, calm and sad. "He didn't choose me because you rejected him. He chose me because I loved him when he had nothing." Caroline's knees buckled. Emma turned to Alex, eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she whispered. "I'll marry you." Cheers erupted. Guests stood and clapped. The air filled with applause and joy. Alex slid the ring onto her finger, then rose and pulled her into a warm embrace. They kissed, wrapped in the center of the glowing hall. Caroline's face contorted in rage. "No," she shrieked. She grabbed a nearby table and flipped it. Glass shattered. Wine spilled. Guests gasped. She picked up a chair, ready to throw it. But security was faster. 2 large guards rushed in and grabbed her. "Let me go," she screamed, kicking and flailing. "Ma'am, please calm down," one guard said. "Remove her," the hotel manager ordered. They dragged her out, her cries echoing behind her. Silence settled once more. "Clean this up," a voice called out. Moments later, a young woman entered, pushing a mop and bucket. She wore a faded apron. Her face was pale, tired. She looked up. Her eyes met Alex's, and froze. "Alex," she whispered. Alex turned. His body tensed. It was her. Lucy, his ex. The one who tried to ruin him. Lucy stood frozen in the doorway, the mop slipping from her fingers. Her apron was worn and stained, her shoes old and faded. Her once radiant glow had vanished. Her skin looked dull. Her cheeks sunken. Dark circles under her eyes told a story of years filled with regret. Alex's entire body stiffened. Their eyes locked for a moment that felt eternal. She didn't say anything. Her lips trembled. Her hands shook. Then, she turned and bolted. The mop bucket tipped, water sloshing onto the marble floor as she fled the hall, her apron flapping behind her like a flag of shame. Emma turned to Alex, still confused. Who was that? Alex looked at the door where Lucy had vanished. Then, with a calm breath, he turned back to Emma. "She doesn't matter anymore," he said gently. "What matters now is you." Emma smiled, tears still fresh in her eyes. Alex pulled her close again. This time, the hug felt different. It felt like closure. Like the pain of the past had been replaced by something whole. The crowd clapped again. Not for the wealth. Not for the drama. But for the love that had bloomed quietly in the shadows of heartbreak. After everything, Alex had finally found peace. Where are you watching from? Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe.